Hello everybody, thanks very much for joining the monthly licensing webinar on today, the 30th of November. My name's Ian Gerard and you can see my contact details up there. As always, this session is being recorded and afterwards you will get a copy of the slides. So obviously just let us know if you don't receive that, but like I say, that will be sent to you following this webinar. I think as per normal, it's worth just running through a few of the standards. So as we know, what we'll be looking to do is covering off some of the Microsoft licensing updates this month, specifically in regards to the Microsoft price increase and those CSP changes. And we'll just kind of run through what they look like and what the recent updates from Microsoft are as well. So I'm very kind of conscious that any organization will need to understand how these changes are going to affect them, where the opportunity is and where the risk is. And of course, that's going to be different for every organization. Microsoft have been drip feeding out some of the information, but actually over the last 2 or 3 weeks, there have been some updates that Microsoft have promised. Some things have been delayed. So what we'll do in this webinar is we really will cover really off where we are with the kind of current state of play as well. But I'm kind of conscious that not everybody may be aware around all of the changes. So I will, again, probably retread a lot of old ground that we have kind of covered on other webinars, and this information has been out for a while, but I'll take it back to the start and I really will cover off what we are effectively talking about when we're talking about the Microsoft price increase. I'll also cover off what we're really talking about with the other changes coming on the 1st of March 2022, changes around the cloud solution program, and then we'll have a little look at the roadmap, like I say, what those recent updates are, perhaps some stuff we're still waiting for or can expect to see in the coming months or even year. And then we will try to understand what the next steps might be for you as an organization, or certainly the conversations I've been having with the vast majority of our customers, just regarding, again, where is the opportunity and how do you mitigate the risk, and really what your options are or what those first steps might be. I will cover off some other news from Microsoft in regards to a few updates, and as always, they've done a couple of name changes, and I'll be covering off that at the end as well with some other news from Microsoft. So like I say, look, there are going to be scenarios that questions will arise, so do please ask them as they pop up. I will try and cover them off as we go or deal with them at the end. Anything that I have missed. Like I say, ultimately, you might want to really understand how this will manifest itself for your organization. So please contact your licensing specialist, your Ultima account manager, or like I say, come to myself, Ian Gerard, at ultima.com directly, and we'll definitely be able to certainly try to help. We'll start with, like I say, covering off right from the start, and I appreciate we may be covering old ground, but what effectively we're talking about here when we talk about the changes coming on the 1st of March in 2022. And the first is the price increase, the Microsoft product price increase. It's not across every product Microsoft have, but and I'll cover off the details on the next slide. But it's important to understand, you may have heard around Microsoft's good numbers kind of approaching their half year, but there is still going to be a price increase, and this is based around the concept that there has been a decade of continuous innovation in their cloud suites. So specifically, if we think about something like Microsoft 365 E3 and all of the additional products that are now included within that. If we think that was released back in July 2011, where there were 6 products that initially came out. It was like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Link, InfoPath, Outlook, Exchange, I think as well. And now there's over 24 suites within that E3 suite, including most recently some of those Power Apps. So there is a lot of value in there, and this is why Microsoft are kind of implementing this price increase on the 1st of March. And what I've put up here is the slide, which really runs through in a percentage base what those price increases are going to be. These were kind of announced on the 19th of August this year, and I think the critical ones that we're certainly focusing on are those E3 suites, those E5 suites. Microsoft 365 E3 itself is going up by 12.5%. So certainly that's a very popular. It's got a lot of value, that E3 suite. A lot of organizations have taken it. A lot of organizations have price locked it as well, of course, in regards to how you're purchasing it, whether that's through CSP, EA, or MPSA, or even via the credit card. But this is all going to be receiving that price increase of 12.5% on the 1st of March. I mean, yes, they've also got like the business suites, business basic, business premium, which are the suites which have a hard limit of 300 users. So whether you're a small, whether you're a medium, whether you're a large organization, this price increase really is going across the board. I mean, even things like Office 365 Plan E5 has also got a price increase, 8.5%. And Microsoft basically have E5 as that top layer, as containing the most products. So to see a 8.5% increase, even on that top line, really does indicate this is something that's across the board. One might argue that there is a significant suite that has not had a price increase, or is not going to have a price increase in this current wave, and certainly we're not seeing one, and that's the Microsoft 365 E5 suite. So that really is, I mean, Microsoft have got many cheesy names for many cheesy things. They call that the hero suite, but I suppose it's the one which kind of contains everything. You know, it's the one that every Microsoft account manager wants to see their customers adopt. I think there is fantastic value in there, but let's be honest, Microsoft 365 E5 is double the price of Microsoft 365 E3. And generally speaking, you're going to have to adopt the Microsoft Security Suite, that Defender Suite, or full telephony, or the third one, maybe Power BI and that Power Platform. But you know, have to hit 2 of those 3 products to really justify that E5 move. With these price increases, you know, if E5 is not going up with a 12.5% price increase on E3, it's just closing that gap to E5, which doesn't take a huge genius to work out. And there's no shortcuts to really understanding which of the Microsoft products you want to adopt, building out that cost model and looking at whether it's cheaper to buy the individual products, the individual SKUs for phone system, for audio conferencing. Hey, is that going to be cheaper? Or should I actually step up to the full Microsoft 365 E5 suite? And now you're going to have to calculate in an extra 12.5% if you're doing that component piece. Hopefully, Microsoft's account teams and strategy there pushing more people to E5. But to be fair, there is a lot more product, there is a lot more value in that suite now as well. I don't want to completely discredit that. So that's the Microsoft product price increase on the 1st of March. The second one is all around this new commerce experience, which is it's not a new term for Microsoft, it has been around for a couple of years now. Maybe, you know, it's just it's another platform, another program, but the idea being, well, the idea that the fact of the matter is that whether you're a small, medium, or large kind of corporate or organization today, there's a variety of different Microsoft agreements you can buy from, whether it's EA or whether it's MPSA, open. You know, there's a huge variety. No matter what size you are, you can kind of pick and choose. So as you can understand, this has led to an awful lot of complexity in the market. Microsoft licensing, very convoluted and not simplistic. So the idea being with this new commerce experience is that a lot of these purchasing options are removed. So in the future, you're effectively going to have 2 types of organization. This is incredibly simplistic. This is Microsoft's view. You're going to have the small and corporate organization, and you're simply going to have the enterprise and large corporation, and one will generally be pushed towards the enterprise agreement, the enterprise motion, that 3-year minimum commit enterprise agreement, and then perhaps the small and corporates would fit more into the CSP, the Cloud Solution Program space. Microsoft crazily draw that line at 2,400 seats, and that is not the case. And that's what this slide says. That's what Microsoft say. But you know, if you have over 500 users, that enterprise agreement conversation option becomes incredibly valid. You look at both, you compare both, and you try and understand the benefits of both in relation to you and your organisation. I certainly see, yes, if you're over 2,400 seats, enterprise agreement's going to have the right price point, the right level of management and Microsoft engagement probably for you. But even then, a CSP agreement does have its advantages. So this is Microsoft's concept around this new commerce experience. So they're removing all of these different ways to purchase, and effectively you're going to have either an enterprise agreement or you're going to have a CSP agreement. I must tell you, in the vast majority of cases, organizations do find opportunity to have both. But like I say, there's nothing, there's new commerce experience. This NCE was actually something Microsoft started way back in 2019 with the Azure piece. We were seeing things like Azure Plan come onto the new commerce experience, which is this new modern way of approaching their licensing and their agreement platform. And that was back in, like I said, that was back in 2019. We're now in the motion of the seat-based offers. So there are some new rules coming to CSP from the 1st of March that have been announced in this calendar year to come into effect next year with these new rules for those small and medium organizations within CSP. So those changes to CSP, and again, I am making some assumptions that you've got a general idea around what the CSP is in compared to an enterprise agreement. But again, please, at a very high level, the enterprise agreement is a 3-year annual commit where you state your number of users at a minimum of 500, and then you pay for those users over the course of 3 years, effectively addressing your licenses once a year, but with 3-year lot pricing and various incentives. The CSP agreement was more of a monthly agreement. You sign up for the year, you have 1 year price locking, and then you can alternate. You can flex your users, increase or decrease them on a monthly basis. And this is the CSP agreement. That's something that your partner would provide. Ultima provide you with a self-service portal, and then you get all of the support around that, 24/7 support and various training options, optimization, and that kind of value-added package around the CSP. But hey, the main benefit of the CSP was this ability to increase or decrease your users on a monthly basis. From the 1st of March 2022, Microsoft are adding on a new monthly premium of 20% to do that. So if you want to be able to have those seasonal workers, those temporary short-term workers, from the 1st of March 2022, there is going to be a 20% premium to do that. Now, if you're in retail and you do have someone coming in for just 2-3 months of the year, there's a justification there of paying that 20% premium as opposed to signing up for 12 months. I also Ultima, we also did look across our CSP customers, and although it is a major benefit of the CSP, that increasing and decreasing of users, especially in retail, manufacturing, and in some of the services, being able to have these short-term, temporary or seasonal workers is a tremendous benefit. But of course, all our customers, it is fascinating, less than 10% actually utilize the monthly flexibility that they have. So it's certainly not good news for Microsoft, this 20% premium on the 1st of March. And some organizations are certainly going to be affected negatively with this. But again, I think that what we can do is try and, these changes are coming, and is to try and find the opportunity. And the opportunity is going to be on some longer term price locking within the CSP agreement. And some of the recent announcements that actually include some incentives. So there is a potential narrative where you can say, well, in preparation for the 1st of March, not only have we secured our long-term future and mitigated the risk, kick that price increase down the road for another 12 or 36 months with a price lock, but actually you can then reduce your price point with some of the incentives that are available between now and the 1st of March. There is an opportunity here. So, and amongst the bad news of a 20% price increase on monthly flexibility, actually, if you look to analyze whether you would truly utilize that, and then actually achieving a price point that is avoiding that price increase and actually reducing your price point, there is opportunity here. There's also more trials to come. There are new cancellation policies. Pretty strict cancellation policies. Used to be up to 7 days, is now down to 72 hours. but like I say, there are kind of more offers coming. I just want to cover off the roadmap as well. So as we said, these changes were announced on the 19th of August to the partner community who relayed them to you, our customers, and our contacts. And they effectively said that this new commerce experience, this new platform was going to be available from the 14th of October. Interestingly enough, that has already been delayed until the 1st of January. But we are now seeing some of these seat-based offers come in. This is all building up to those changes within CSP on the 1st of March, those new seat-based offers, the new 20% premium being added. And at the same time is the price increase, the product price increase on those select online licenses. So imagine you were buying Microsoft 365 E3 through a CSP agreement, and you were a retail organization who wanted to have those short-term users. You'd now be looking at a 12.5% increase on that E3 license, and then an additional 20% to retain that monthly flexibility. So it's something where more and more we're going to be able to, for those organizations, are going to have to consider some of these offers that are available up until, well, kind of between now and the 31st of March, to really kind of take advantage of them, to kind of avoid that what is in effect could be a incredibly large kind of 35% increase on those licenses that they're buying. So the real major point is, okay, and I've added in the final piece there, which just shows some of those other old agreements, that agreement spool, all that complexity. Open is being retired in 32 days, 32 days time, and we will see the same with those, and we've already seen the same with Select Plus. We'll see. I mean, MPSA, I think, has still got a place. Microsoft talked about MPSA leaving, as I did even earlier in this slide. It still provides good value in certain cases, because you can renew your software assurance for some of your on-premise products. But don't get me wrong, this new commerce experience, when we talk about the CSP agreement, mainly we're talking about online cloud licenses, but as part of the development of the NCE, something I haven't necessarily covered, but we have seen the introduction of on-premise products on the CSP agreement. Actually, we've now had the ability to even buy perpetual products on the CSP agreement. So some of the things I haven't potentially mentioned is the fact that the CSP, you can just do more things on this agreement. So in time, it will replace that MPSA by being able to continue to cover your on-premise products as well, which you will always have, even if you're a full cloud organization. I mean, there's a lot of value in just buying a SQL license or a Windows Server license to utilize the hybrid use benefit and a license mobility to reduce the costs within Azure. You know, when people kind of talk around, oh, you can have 60% savings within Azure. It's not really 60% savings. It's utilizing your on-premise licensing in a more intelligent way. And I'm pretty confident the vast majority of organizations do that. If you don't do that, you should do that. But there's there's a conversation regarding leveraging the value, and the CSP agreement allows you to kind of do that still. But as I said, there have been just recent updates, even over the last 4 weeks. So we are now seeing, I think I mentioned in the last webinar, we were expecting to see 3-year term offers available on the CSP, a 3-year price lock, and it is not available on every product yet. Dynamics it is, and on some of the M365 products it is, and this is available from the 1st of March. So on the CSP, you can actually do a 3-year price lock. Obviously, you cannot. Beautiful, not so great is the fact that if you do a 3-year price lock on a CSP agreement, you are tying yourself into, you can increase users, but you cannot decrease. So you have to be very static and very confident in your position if you wanted to utilize that 3-year price lock under CSP. And then look, I'm going to talk about next steps about understanding the profile of your users. Maybe you do have kind of 2 batches of users, short-term and long-term users, and I think that's critical to your planning between now and the 1st of March. But many organizations really kind of looking at that 1 year, the 1-year price lock on the CSP. Yes, you have to make that upfront commitment. But again, if you do kind of profile and understand your user base between now and the 1st of March, and you understand that it is okay to make a 1-year commitment, then actually what you would do is to take advantage of some incentives to commit for that first year up front, which actually then locks that price for you for another 12 months. And actually for that 12 months, you do still retain. If you do that before the 1st of March, it might even, if you wanted to retain the monthly flexibility, you can actually do that if you place an order before the 1st of March. But if you are willing to commit, in which many organizations are willing to commit and get onto that new commerce experience, get onto a 1-year price lock, lose the monthly flexibility, but Microsoft have announced, well, actually, they will incentivize you to do that. So if you're looking at a price of £17 for Microsoft, that's a bad example. If you're looking at a price of £25 for Microsoft 365 E3 today, and you're thinking, well, actually, I want to avoid the 12.5% increase on the 1st of March, and I don't necessarily need to retain the flexibility, the monthly flexibility. I'm happy to pay up front for a year for my 250, my 500, my 1,000 users. Well, actually, now we can take that 25%, that £25 price point. If you're willing to commit for a year, Microsoft have announced there's incentives, so we can actually reduce that price point. So not only are you missing the 12.5% price increase, you're reducing that £25 per user per month price as well. There's going to be new benefits coming to the CSP agreement with the reintroduction. If you're an old EA customer of the Home Use Program, which is the ability for your users to buy a copy of Microsoft Office online for their own personal use and have that with massively discounted rates. There's some products you can buy through the EA. I kind of already mentioned it, that you can buy through the CSP. I mentioned on-premise licenses. I want to confirm the introduction, not actually available on the price list yet, but Microsoft have confirmed we will see the introduction to purchase multi-geo on the CSP agreement, being able to have that data reside in those relevant data centers across Europe. Co-terming is now available, so if you are signing up for that full year, as you go out throughout the year, it's not like every single one you have to buy is going to be for 12 months. Once you have that first order, then that sets your renewal date, and subsequent orders will be co-termed to that. So you don't have complete, every single month you're going to have, if you're on a CSP agreement and you're doing it yearly, that you're not going to get into a scenario where you're going to have a renewal every single month. There will be co-terming, so there's still intelligence implied there. Windows 365, Microsoft's new cloud PC, different from the Azure Virtual Desktop. The idea about the desktop, just the desktop, not the apps, just the desktop being streamed, will be monthly and is the only product to be exempt from the 20% premium, just so you're aware. So I've covered off a few of the next steps already as I have been talking, but all I can say and repeat and stress, and basically my job at the moment 24/7 is plan, is use this time between now and the 1st of March to plan, to profile your users. You need to lock in the price, so understand whether the monthly, again, if you're an enterprise agreement, it's worth understanding this, but let's I'm talking to CSP customers, understand whether the monthly flexibility or a consistent price point is important to you, most important to you. Where's the, again, cost model it out, understand the black and white of it, understand the increased management of having potentially the difference between some long-term, some long-term, and some short-term users. So once you understand those users who are static over a 12-month period, we can explore the seat-based offers, the incentives, the discounts to take advantage of before the 1st of March 2022. So I really am just repeating myself, but again, take advantage of this time. Resecure the monthly flexibility if that's the kind of the critical point for you, if you do need to retain those short-term users. Again, I want to be clear, to retain the monthly flexibility, we secure that again before the 1st of March, and that effectively keeps you on the monthly flexibility for like another 12 months. But you're only kicking the problem down the road for 12 months, but hey, okay, great, another 12 months. Or you go, well, actually, let's commit to the new commerce experience before the 1st of March and get that price lock at a better price point and get that kind of done in February 2022. Every organization is going to have a different take on this, a different scenario. Maybe you've got remote offices, maybe you have an EA with a CSP on the side. Maybe the reason you have the CSP on the side is for those short-term users. So the idea around committing long-term to the CSP is not relevant because you're an EA customer So actually these changes in regards to short-term users are going to be pretty impactful. But again, profile users understand what that price point is going to be. Again, the Windows Cloud PC is the one product that is exempt from the 20% premium, because it's always going to be a per user per month pricing, and it is always going to be dependent on the size of the cloud that you need, the amount of memory that you need for streaming that desktop. And again, that's kind of been available since August. If you'd like to know more about Windows 365 Cloud PC, excuse me, then please let us know. Let me know. Let your Ultima account team know. Other Microsoft updates and news. Microsoft Scheduler, the Microsoft announced the availability of Scheduler, a new kind of Microsoft 365 service. I mentioned that decade of innovation. It is another element to that, effectively to use Cortana to arrange and schedule your meetings. Again, it is a slightly different price point. So again, if you do think Microsoft Scheduler is something that is going to be relevant for yourselves, then please contact us. Microsoft security products are again going through a subtle name change, basically dropping the Azure when we talk about Azure Defender and changing it to Microsoft Defender. Look, it makes sense. We saw advanced threat protection, Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection, Windows Advanced Threat Protection become Defender. It was called Azure Defender Sentinel or Azure Sentinel. Everything is now being that Azure is changing to Defender. MCAS, Cloud App Security, is becoming Defender for Cloud Apps. We're also seeing Microsoft Defender for Business for those organizations, for the smaller organizations, kind of up to 300 employees as well. So it's more name changes, and that is the webinar for this month. Like I said, I still kind of feel like I'm being very high level in regards to a lot of these changes, but I hope that gave you a good overview of basis in the facts. You will get these slides with all of those percentages in black and white for you, and use this time now to plan. And please contact us if you do have any questions or would like any more information. Please contact your account team. Otherwise, thank you very, very much for your time. And I don't see any questions, but please let me know if you do have any. Thank you.